Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but sometimes it's illogical for people on government assistance to get a job. Just because somebody is able-bodied does not mean that they're able to work. Because you have to look at it from a stance of survival. If I'm getting Section 8, if I'm getting food stamps, if I'm getting all my needs met on government assistance, what do I stand to lose if I go get a job and they start cutting my aid? Now I'm homeless. Now I can't afford to pay my bills. Now my kids don't have food, because once you start working, they will start cutting your benefits. And the issue with the system is they don't teach people how to survive without the benefits.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I thought they were taking Section 8 away, and that's not what they're doing. Basically, what Trump is proposing is he wants people to stop being lazy. So what a lot of people do is they get on Section 8 and then they try to be on there for the rest of their life when that's not what it's supposed to be. So basically what the Trump administration is proposing is you stay on Section 8 for 2 years. In those 2 years, you get yourself together and you get some type of financing so you can pay to get out of Section 8. And I can't be mad at that. Me being a landlord, there's going to be a lot of budget taxes and cuts and all those different things as far as tenants having to go with not having financing and things like that. So it's some things that has to get tweaked, but the overall of this budget or administration or what they're trying to impose, I can't be mad at it.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and I put up a video talking about how Trump was going to cut food stamps, social welfare, and all that shit. And I don't know if he has or hasn't. I don't keep my ear to the grind as it pertains to welfare. But it came across this. It says his administration is planning to push for a 2-year limit on Section 8. Damn, they must have been watching my videos or some shit. Because I literally said that about the food stamps. I said people should be on food stamps for 2 years. I literally gave it a specific time frame. And sure enough, they talking about giving Section 8 to people, and you can only be on that shit for 2 years. That makes sense. In 2 years, you should be able to get at least an associate's degree or halfway through a bachelor's. Work your job, work 2 jobs. But a lot of people are reliant on welfare. When I say people, I mean women. A bunch of broke bitches that's been on welfare because they can't afford a house. Let's just keep it 100. They can't afford a house. They never got married. If they did, the nigga they with was a bum. He didn't buy them a house. And they need shelter. And instead of renting an apartment like a normal person would, you know, welfare bitches, whether black, white, and or other, they can't just have a 1-bedroom apartment. Or if they got a kid or 2, they can't have a 2 or 3-bedroom apartment. They need a house. As one woman told me, they need space to stretch out. I'm like, if you need Section 8, you don't need shit. You need a job, maybe a second one, because you should be doing for self, not going around here relying on the government, using social welfare like a crutch, not a cane. And like the stupidness. I know people, I think I've said this in one of my podcasts, I got aunties. Even my mom was on welfare extended periods of time. I think one of my aunts like was on welfare so long, or Section 8 so long, paid the house off. The nigga let her stay in it because like, you already paid me. And I guess when he get done or get ready to flip it, he'll ask her to move. But like, it's been roughly about 30 years. All her kids have moved out. So like, yeah, that right there is just insane. The fact that you can be on welfare for a decade plus. And even if that's not true, maybe because I don't know if they might watch my video, I might be off for the years. However, what I do know, even if it wasn't 30 years, it was a decade plus. That's too fucking long. You should be on the road to purchasing, putting a mortgage down on your own house. You're living off the government and taxes. I pay that shit. So I got a problem with that. People just like sitting on a funky ass, not trying to better themselves. And it doesn't matter that they're women. I believe, like men, women should try to better themselves and elevate in life, not be living on the same mode that they was on in the 90s or even the early 2000s. It's 2025. These young bitches, they don't need to rely on the government. Not only that, the government knows it's the OnlyFans. So you out here making $5,000-$10,000 a month, they know you can afford a house. So they curbing all that shit. If you're not on OnlyFans, you better get on OnlyFans, twerk your dirty ass, use a dildo, or put on sex shows, get your bread up and buy you a townhouse or a condo. But living off of Section 8 and welfare, that's ridiculous. And before I start talking, the woman was talking about how some people need Section 8. Ma'am, if you're not elderly and you're not a person with a disability, you don't need Section 8. You need to get your ass out there and stop having kids and better yourself through education or the grind of the hustle. Start a business. I don't know. The argument that some of these people be putting up, it'd be like they don't think we got intelligence. It's one thing if you stupid. Don't try to play like I'm stupid. I ain't buying none of that shit you selling. You know what I'm saying? She goes on to say that some people have kids, and well, you should have thought about that before you had a kid. Matter of fact, you shouldn't let Jamarquavius bust up in you raw if you knew he wasn't gonna marry you and buy you a house. In any event, if y'all like this episode, you know what to do, and I'm out.